What is up, YouTube? It is Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. I'm artisanmc, and this is the hero's journey. If you can hear me clearly, give me a 1 in the chat before we get started on everything. What the fuck is with this camera? It's everywhere but where it's supposed to. I'm moving shit around on my desk. Got a 1 from Swift. Thank you for playing along at home. Same thing from Zajac. Appreciate y'all. All right. So, like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. I'm looking for 15 crews, 15 elites. Got 2 already. So, shout out to Aquatechie for supporting the stream, as you always do. I will give you the guts and butts. Appreciate you, Aquatechie.
Double up, 3 or 4 times. I ain't taking no line. Run it up. Never let a hard time on the
Shout out to Toya falling out the car in that video. Next one goes out to Swift. Swift said, excuse me, let me read this message. For the Geek Sunday tribute. Been busy, but here today. Hey man, everybody busy. Everybody got to do work. But I do appreciate it if you spend some time coming through here, listening to me talk my shizit. So, to Swift, appreciate you. I will give you the guts and butts. Appreciate you.
Double up, 3 or 4 times. I ain't taking no line. Run it up. Never let a hard time on the
Now to everybody else, if you're through here and you're just coming to peek in but not support the stream, what is your issue? Anyway, let's see if we can give you a reason to actually support your interest. So, first things I want to say is shout out to the Professor Shannon, because I got me some of this. If y'all don't know what it is, it's not sangria. Okay, it's not sangria. This is homemade Jamaica, which I love. Okay, my friend Shannon, she made a pot of homemade Jamaica yesterday, and called me up and asked me if I had a 1 gallon pitcher or milk pitcher or something like that. I'm like, no. She said, well, I made some Jamaica. You want some of this? And I was like, fuck yes. So I grabbed my 1 gallon cooler from construction work and took that over there. She filled that motherfucker up to the brim. Went out yesterday, had a good time at the air show, came back home, threw that shit in the refrigerator. And today I got some nice chilled hibiscus. I've been drinking that shit. I sent her a picture today of the pitcher and told her that, look, this might not last a day. It might not. I might be pissing cranberry juice or something looking like it for the next day, because I'm probably gonna polish this off. So, shout out to Shannon, the professor, for hooking me up with the Jamaica. I do like when people give me stuff that I actually like. It's actually enjoyable. It's actually shows a little bit of reciprocity, because I always try to give people what they like. Just how I am. So shout out to her. Next one goes out to RIP to Michelle Lawson, the boss. Bitch is on some shit. And I hadn't heard about the boss for a while. I hadn't heard her put out an album or anything like that in a while, but I do remember who she was. And excuse me, the weirdness of her passing is that I was able to find a song that I had been looking for a few years from her. It's funny how that works out. And the song was I Don't Give a Fuck. And I remember seeing it. I believe it was in the HBO movie Strap with Bokeem Woodbine and Fredro Starr, Michael Bean, and stuff like that. Because I remember it was a bike messenger scene or something like that, and he was riding through the city and it was playing the song. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Not a single fuck. Not I like that part. I like that part. Sounds corny as shit nowadays, but back then I liked it, and I didn't know the song, even though I knew it sounded like Boss. I wasn't able to find the song back in the day, but today, thanks to the internet and YouTube, you can find all kinds of songs that you never heard of. All you gotta do is enter a little search history. You'll find some shit that you like. So I remember her when she came out in the 90s. It was a bit like she was trying to be a female Eazy-E, because they always had her in the Lokes and the beanie hats and the Carhartt stuff and shit. And she wasn't sexualized in a way that Aaliyah was a little bit, she would wear that kind of stuff, beanie hats and Lokes and stuff like that, but it was more of a young sensuous thing going on with Aaliyah. Boss was more hardcore. She was supposed to be a gangster from Detroit. But enjoyed her. She did have some lyrical skills. I don't know exactly why she fell off, but I can tell you, listening to some of her songs that I remember, like the one with AMG, because I was a fan of AMG back in the day, she had more lyrical content than I think some of these female rappers nowadays. Because ho hop is not my thing. Never been into it. But it would have been nice to see her have her career go on a little longer and not check out from kidney failure at 54. I'm 50 now. I'm telling you, 50 block is looking like Murderer's Row. If I make it to 60, I'd be surprised. I would really be surprised, because everybody in my generation hitting 50 or close to 60 is dropping off the map. Like, look, they grease the skids up that way. So we'll see what happens. What's good, Andre? So shout out to the boss. I'm not actually drinking anything today. I know it's Sunday. It's a whiskey day since it's St. Patrick's Day, but I'm not drinking anything today but the Jamaica. And I didn't spike it with any whiskey. I didn't want to ruin either one. So shout out to the boss. RIP. And hopefully these folks will remember your legacy. What's good, Andre? Andre stopped through here. Now the other thing. I thought about this for a hot minute when I was making my thumbnails today. And that some people would actually have, or some black folks would actually have an issue if I was celebrating St. Patrick's Day. And I thought about that for a hot minute, and then I really decided on what I felt. I already knew what I felt initially, but the mark of an intelligent person is to be able to hold two opposing ideas, debate the merits of each one, and decide on your course of action. I already knew what my course of action was, but I do not have a problem debating the idea with myself just to test myself, in a sense, to see if my logic holds up. And the conclusion I came to was, fuck you. That was the conclusion I came to. Right? Why do I say that? Not to be rude necessarily, but in the sense that the misnomer in pronouncing my name as artisanmc is that it is not artisanmc. I've said that before, but I ride with it because it's easier for people to remember. It's actually artisanmc. Capital M, lowercase c. It's artisanmc. Why? Because I have some Irish heritage. Yeah, it looks like it, right? Yeah, mint chocolate chip. So, honestly, on both sides of my family, paternal side and maternal side, is Irish people. Legit. My maternal side, which we know more about than my paternal side, came to Arizona with the first settlers, Irish settlers into Arizona as slaves. And they had a lot of children with said Irish slave master. That's why when I was a young boy and went to visit my family down in Arizona, I got black red-headed cousins. We do. Why some of us are hairier than normal black folks are. Kind of resistant to cold a little bit. And to put away some fucking alcohol. What's up, studio? What's up, no one? Package man in the building. Now, on my father's side, it is a legit family name. It is a legit family name that comes from the, what is it, northwestern region of Ireland. I know because I looked into it when I was a teenager in my 20s, trying to understand who the fuck I was. And at that time, searched the name back as far as I can go. It goes to Irish folks. My actual government is not that common here in California. It's not. Which means if you're here, we're probably related. Now, for me, part of understanding what it means to be a Black American, in a sense, is understanding that we got a lot of stuff mixed up in us. There's a lot of it. Now, I don't say that with any sense of shame or anything like that. It's just what it is. America is a melting pot, right? So no matter how dark, no matter how light any one of us Black folks here in America are, if we have not come from the continent, we are mixed with something. Angry Man talks about this a lot. Your genotype versus your phenotype, all right? What you look like on the outside versus what's in your family, what you know of that's in your family. So for my mind, knowing better and knowing that, we all fucking mixed. So in that vein, to own that shit, because I don't believe in, as a father of a mixed child, I don't believe in honoring only half of yourself. I don't. That seems like a schism that you will never recover from. That seems like something you will spend a lot of time in therapy trying to rationalize. You can only be one thing or the other. You can only support one thing or the other. It's usually based on your fucking what other people perceive you to be. It's stupid. For one, listening to other people about who you are. For two, not embracing all of who you are. I'll tell y'all an interesting story. My daughter is mixed, right? My daughter is Black and Thai. Beautiful girl, right? Beautiful girl. We had a conversation when she was back in college about how she got a bit of angst with her. Because, yes, she's going to school with predominantly a bunch of white folks. Yes, she looks phenotypically Black. But she was telling me about the struggle of, well, I feel like I am disrespecting part of myself if I want to go as a Black looking person to the Asian Student Union. Because they look at me strange, like, what am I doing here? But then she has to, show her papers, her credentials, telling them, no, my mother is Asian. But then again, in the Black Student Union, they kind of look at her sideways too, because she don't all look all the way stereotypically Black. So where does a child like that go? Is it the parents' fault that you made a child mix stranded between straddled between two borders, two chalk lines, and you gave them a struggle in their life? I say no. I say no, having both of my parents be Black and still coming out light as fuck. I say it's everybody else's problem. Because as I see it, you got the best of both worlds. You can embrace whatever the fuck you want to. You can eat fried chicken and do Muay Thai. And can't nobody say nothing about it. You can study Buddhism. You can know everything about black culture, or Black history, I should say. But you can also know all this stuff about Thai culture. You can speak shitty language, and you can learn how to speak Thai. Why not? The world is there to be embraced. And I don't know about y'all, but every time I look at a picture of a globe, from space, because we ain't on a flat Earth, I never see any boundaries. Only ones I see is the hard ones, land and sea. There's a whole big world out there. And if you stay constantly trying to stuff people in one box or the other so you can sleep easier and don't have to do that much fucking thought, you are a small-minded person. And your view of the world is really dim. It's like looking through a keyhole. I told my daughter she never had to choose. Whatever the fuck you want to. If you want to go to the Asian Student Union, you can go. You got just as much right to be there as they do. Why wouldn't you? What up, Rainfly? Shout out to the Elite Rain. So, in that vein, if I know there is legitimately Irish people in my family, then my family, at least on one side, was very populated by Irish people. Why the fuck wouldn't I celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Why not? I got a whole Irish surname. And as a Black person in America, I know what that means. That was Master's name. And I got it from my daddy, who got it from his father. He probably got it from his father before him. So why should I dishonor that? I don't give a fuck about the situation. And I went over this before with children. While I love the hell out of my children, I do. I know some of the situations that I had them in was irresponsible. Doesn't take away from the fact that I love them to death. I just know that the situation that happened probably wasn't the best one. I wasn't being the most on top of it. I mean, I was on top of it, obviously, but, not being as responsible as I should have been. But you know what? Something good came out of that shit. Yeah. And the changes they made in me. So I don't complain about the fact that I had them. I honor them because I do. And for who they are. So it's kind of the same way with celebrating St. Patrick's Day. I wasn't there for the creation. But that creation spawned me. And I'm awesome. So fuck you. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day while I drink my Latino drink. Sue me. I'm an American. I get to do all of that shit at the same time. I don't have to choose. It's a melting pot, nigga, and I got chips for dipping in the melting pot. What up, JT? Fracture in the building. The world will acknowledge you when you force it to. She will crush all of the other houses. Sorry, I'm on my Atreides right now. Yeah, you on that Atreides shit. You with the jihad right now. You with the galactic jihad. I had a good conversation yesterday with the professor about Dune and what's coming next and what happens in the next books and what I would want to see happen in the next movies. And I gave her some spoilers for what happens with Paul, his children, and stuff like that, just to give her an understanding of why I'm happy about Dune 2 doing well. I'm really happy about that. I just want them to do a third movie. Just go on to the third movie, go on to the other books, because I've seen this part already a number of times. I want to see the parts that I have never seen put on film. Sci-Fi Channel was the closest one, because they actually did those other books. That's what the Children of Dune stuff was about. That's what that miniseries was about with James McAvoy. I don't say these things because I'm trying to prove that I'm better than you guys. I say these things because I expect you guys to go back and look for this shit. Do your research. Do your fucking homework. Be a little bit more on the up and up than half of these people that's talking about this shit. Speaking of which, shout out to Dr. Anwar Dunbar in the Big Ideas 76 Media and Entertainment for giving me that shout out in his short, talking about there is no love triangle. Yeah. When I was on his show, that's what I told him. There is no love triangle. Everybody's sitting there talking about that shit and complaining about it. It's basically showing that they didn't read the damn material. There's no love triangle. Paul don't love Roland at all. He don't fuck her. He don't touch her. Paul in Johnny bag. And that's all. What the fuck is these people? That's why. Jesus Christ. Why did it go there? I don't want to switch it. Fuck a duck. So, me and part of the as Fracture was talking about on his Atreides, yeah, crush all the other houses. And that's what happens. You get bloody. And it wasn't a joke. We're Americans from Gen X, racist, liberal, and PC guilt doesn't work on us. Exactly, Malika. That shit is like, dude, this. We look at that shit. We just look at it. It's an interesting position to be in, to be there when they start putting all these changes in, to see people putting all this bullshit into play, knowing where things came from, seeing what they're doing, and then seeing where it's gone to. It's a really interesting position to be in, because it doesn't really take on you. That's why they kind of write Gen X off all the time. Now, a lot of this dysfunction or dumb shit that we see nowadays does come in some parts from our generation. Some of it does. Elder Gen Xers, as younger Gen Xers. I don't think I'm I think I'm right in the middle. But some of that does come from there, because some of these kids running amok, these 30-year-old kids that don't got no goddamn sense, those are our children. And millennials, those are our kids. My son was born in 93. My daughter was born in 99. These are millennials. Birth before the millennium got here. Now, my daughter may be on the cusp, on the tail end of being a millennial, but my son is all in there. His age group, he one of the younger ones in that age group. I keep telling you, I don't have anything against you guys, but some of you is on some bullshit. Just like some of us Gen Xers are on some bullshit. Because trust and believe, I saw a video on Instagram this morning about a dude making a joke. He always got him and his girlfriend on these videos making silly means, arguing with him, and she checking him and shit like that, right? He did one with his mama today. It was supposed to be his mama. And when this chick walked in the screen, she had on a fucking hoodie, some long ass dookie braids, and trying to be more masculine than him. And I'm like, that's your mama, nigga? He ain't even black. He a Latino dude, right? I'm like, now I know what's wrong with you. You should have never put that shit on. Look, I'm going to have to unfollow their ass. Because now I know why that shit isn't not even funny. It's not even funny. Because what I saw after I looked at it twice was two people standing up there drenched in their pseudo masculinity. The mama and the son. Him proving that his mama can't check him. And her squaring up with him like a damn dude. And they standing there chin to chin. I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude. That's your mama? What a travesty. Anyway, I can't watch that shit no more. I can't. Because it just hit me in the wrong way after I watched it a second time. It just really did. It was funny the first time because she came out with the chancla and the belt and started whooping his ass because he was talking crazy to her. But afterwards, after he got up, the video kept going on and he was, talking crazy and they was just sitting there staring off at each other. I'm like, looking at the two of them wearing the same clothing, what makes her the mama? What makes him the man? I'm a grown man. And why are you getting your ass beat by your mama with a belt on camera for it to be funny? You silly bastard. Anyway. St. Patrick's Day is also a patron saint of Nigeria. Most black people came from the West Africa. Therefore, we can celebrate St. Patrick's Day too. Thank you, Swift. Thank you for that educational moment. I do appreciate it. I'm not being sarcastic either. Thank you for that. I didn't know they celebrated St. Patrick's Day in Nigeria. Do tell me more, because I know about a lot of us coming from West Africa. See, this is when I get down to some of this stuff, at least us American black folks being upset about some of these holidays and shit, while we start going in with on the woke shit, like, I don't celebrate this because this motherfucker was racist and this, that, and that. Look, motherfucker, everybody in this bitch is racist. Shut up. Even black folks. But I told you once, everybody got their biases. Everybody's bigoted in some kind of way. Primarily against people that look like them. Primarily. And then it comes to everybody else who are the others. Everybody outside your group you usually don't like. Usually don't. You know little about them, but you hate them all the same. Why? Because they're not you. Now, the difference comes in that if you have any power over these people, then you can execute that bigotry as racism. Because you have to have power to do that. Since a lot of us don't have power over other races, you just bigoted. Which is fine. Told y'all before, I just don't like assholes and bitches. So I'm really bigoted against them. Stupid people fall into the mix too. Don't like them. The willfully ignorant, yeah, I can't stand them. Oh, fuck all of them. And they come in a lot of different colors. So I think what it comes down to for black folks a lot of times, when they get on this bag about I don't celebrate these holidays. I don't celebrate that shit. You just pissed because as a black folk in this country, you don't have a history worth looking back on. You don't see it that way. I don't hate Japanese culture because Japanese culture can trace their shit back 1,000 or more years. I don't hate them for that shit. I don't hate Irish culture because they can do that. I don't hate, European culture because they can do that. Even though they're responsible for the reason why you can't track back some of your shit. I don't hate them for that. I don't hate people for knowing their fucking history. That's the one thing that was stripped from us. But some of it is still out there if you do your research to find it. Like Swift is in here letting you know about Nigeria celebrating St. Patrick's Day. It's still there. You can go to the constant, you can immerse yourself in history books and learn if you want to spend the time and, think about you going to go blind because you sat there and read for a while. I didn't have somebody just talking it to you. You'll find out a lot of this stuff is a lot of culture can be lost, but can also be found again. I look at it in this way, and this may be just my ignorant way of looking at it, but if you can't tell me my past, you damn sure can't tell me who I'm going to be in the future. That means it's all open for me to decide for myself. I make my history now. I make my culture. I define it, not you. Because we have to start over, right? Okay, then. Well, the first thing I do in my culture is say, well, this is it because this is what I do. It's like certain family traditions. I started my family traditions with my kids and myself and my Asian wife. I started my family cultures. You know why? Because we didn't have any. Not with a black man being the patriarch. No, we didn't. Did I take exactly what I had from what I was born into? Yes. I took the best parts. Because, yeah, there are good parts in dysfunction sometimes. There can be. But like we say in this space all the time, chewed the meat and I spit out the bones. So I took the best parts of how I was raised between the 3 different fucking families I was raised in. I took the best parts of those, synthesized and distilled them into what is my family. The teachings my children got. Whether they carry it forward or not, it is on them to do. But I know I started it on some good foundation. And I know I started it as a tradition that should be carried on and go forward. So I'm not mad at other people's cultures because they have that history. Good for them. Good for fucking them. I know they didn't have the same issue we had. Being, these Africans lost in America. I know that much. So, yeah, slavery ain't rosy. No, it's not a rosy time. But things come out of that you should actually embrace. There are some good things that happen. I'm not saying in slavery itself, but your family surviving through all of that shit to produce someone of your liking, of who you are this day, should be celebrated. It don't matter where the fuck you came from. Who started your family, where it went to, none of that shit. It shouldn't matter at all. So me, I celebrate. Why the fuck not? No Irish person I've known in life in 50 years has ever been shitty to me. Never have. I think of two right now. Two right now, if I knew where they were today, we could have a drink and have a good time hanging out together. It's Patrick McGillicuddy. Yeah, he's really fucking Irish. And Sean, I can't remember what Sean's last name was. And we worked together in the trade in carpentry in San Francisco. Excuse me, Patrick Mulligan, not McGillicuddy, Mulligan. We worked together as carpenters when I was an apprentice. And we went out and had a good time drinking in the bar, in an Irish bar in San Francisco, Route 101 on Van Ness. Go find it and hang out. We had a good damn time. Sean was teaching me some Gaelic, drinking beers, and trying to get me to really listen to Thin Lizzy. And since I'm an open-minded ass person, I didn't say I don't listen to no fucking rock music. I didn't say no dumb shit like that, even as a black dude. Because far as I know, music, as in culture, is there to be experienced. And if it comes across your path, see what it's about. It only helps you. You might think it's the shittiest sound of music you ever heard. Could be. But you still listen and you still learn because you learn something about them. Not the stereotype. You learn about them, the actual person. That is your journey through life. People come into your life all the time. They go all the time. Death or by choice. That is my motto. That's how people come and go in your life. When these people came into my life, these two men, I chose to actually learn from them. And I learned a lot. I got some decent stories. I got some funny fucking stories that I could share with other people when it comes down to talking about Irishmen and stuff like that. I've never had any problem with Irish folks. They ain't never had a problem with me. They look shocked when they hear my last name and I show up, but they never had any problem with me. So why would I be so hateful? Why would I? Because somewhere in some history, one of them wasn't even their fucking ancestors. Was a slave master? Look, man, he ain't now. And that motherfucker long dead. But you know, thanks to that slave owner son of a bitch, part of my family got a big claim on Phoenix. I'm just saying, they got a big claim on Phoenix. So pay what you owe or shut the fuck up. So I don't have a problem like that. It's not my issue. Like I was telling you guys last week about going to that bar, the racist bar in the hood. I'm waiting for the rest of y'all to die. Because that is some real old thinking. That's some old programming. You need to drop. And if you want to know why, there's so many other reasons nowadays to hate people. You can get off the race one. You can get way the fuck off of that one. Because as I see it, the biggest growing demographic in the U.S. is the mixed child. And if they ever get their shit together and form their own political group, they're going to dwarf the rest of us. How about that? And then you can sit there and watch these politicians tap dance on one hand and fill up the other hand with shit, trying to figure out how to pitch to these people. How do you pitch to people that are not on one side or the other, but they on both? Yeah, Aquatech. It sound funny, but the beige party. Yeah, they get Drake to be their fucking representative. Light skinned Jesus. That's gonna be a whole group. And it ain't gonna be, and it's not gonna matter who they mix with. It ain't. Because if you think about it like this, anybody mixed with black, kind of beige. To use Aquatechi's word, they're kind of beige. That is a big group. Because I don't know if you know this, but anybody like having some black. There's a lot of mixed kids out here too. What happens if they stop checking black or white or black and Asian or black and Latino or black and whatever? What if they stop doing that shit and just say, we just, for lack of a better word, we just beige? I just say that. Then that's just one block. You think about it, we cover this whole spectrum. Stop letting people make you choose between who you are. You decide who the fuck you are. And let them learn to accept that shit. You got to accept them for who they are, right? Well, then. It works the same way. So, in my view, I celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Fuck you. And I don't feel nothing about it. And if I have a problem going out and having a beer in an Irish pub because, oh, they don't like black folks in here, you can tell them to go fuck yourself. That's his problem. That'd probably end up being a big problem, but it is what it is. I will only have issue with him. I won't hate all Irish people because of that shit, because that would just be ignorant. But the individual that has a problem with me, that's the motherfucker that needs my ire, because that's the one with the defective brain. So that's my points on celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Kill the rage, vote beige. Well, like it, you funny as fuck. Kill the rage, vote beige. Look, I told you guys last political season, 4 years ago, I told y'all, if you wanted to send a message to politicians about this voting bullshit that I hate, this dog and pony show every 2 to 4 years, I hate this dog and pony show. It's so fucking stupid to me. I have dealt with it long enough to understand it is fucking dumb. It is dumb. Getting policies and getting stuff voted on to bills and getting them passed is important. This dog and pony show of the political system is the dumb part. That is the dumb part. But I told y'all, what I would have loved to see is all black folks sit the fuck out. I would have loved to see that shit. Why? So you can see what your numbers actually are, what your numbers tip. Could be nothing, could be something. Especially when everybody's just expecting you to push your ass Democrat. But you just got to do it because these are the people who like you. There you go. No, they don't. No, they don't. They play like they like you. They really hate your ass. You know how you can tell? The policies they put in place, what do? Do they help you or do they hurt you? And that's all I need to know. I don't give a fuck what their letter is on their political affiliation. Are you doing stuff to fuck me up, or are you doing stuff to help me? And I don't need that much damn help. I don't even look for it. You out there wanting me to be defenseless and locked up? Fuck you. Or are you there making it able to start a business, get funding, and sell my wares to the world so I can hopefully become a billionaire? Mulatto parties on ballot. Rainfire says so. Democrats, Republicans, mulatto. I wouldn't even call them that. I wouldn't call them anything that's race based or color based. But it has to be something else political. But you understand, I think you guys understand what I am saying. That is a big demographic. Mixed people is a huge demographic. If they ever band together on doing that shit and go for, I don't know, mixed people's views, they'll probably get more done. Than having to be all stuck in the black group and then get parsed out of that group into all these other groups, dwindling your power. Yeah. Aquateki, the shiniest of two turds. I told you that last week on my artisanmc stream. Why I voted for my daughter some years. Why? Because I understand the lesser of two evils is a choice between two evils, and I'm not choosing evil. No, I'm not. What kind of bullshit choice is that? That's like a woman you had a one-night stand with, fished your condom out the toilet or some shit, stuck it up in her, and decided she's now pregnant. And you have the choice. You can stay or be a father, or you can go away and not be a father. Well, anybody with half a brain knows it don't matter. Either way, you're getting fucked on child support. You can either get fucked while she's looking at you in the face, or you can get fucked behind your back while you can't see her. But you're going to get fucked. That's exactly what's going to happen. That is not a choice. It's not a choice. So in that situation, what's the lesser of two evils? Oh, fuck that bitch. I'll put the hot sauce in the condom. Shout out to Drake, my Scorpio brother. Just saying. What did Rainfire say? Don't forget about the descendants of Genghis Khan party. Yeah, the Genghis Khan party run deep, motherfucker. You better hope they never get it together. Let me put on my Chinese throat music up here. The Wu Band. So what did JT say? A trio of older Irish dudes bought me a drink last night at the bar. They cool as shit. Irish dudes is cool as shit. I've never met a fucked up Irish dude. Never. I know no, I can't say that. There was one dude I worked with. He was an asshole. But I called him an asshole not because he was Irish, because that was his fucking personality. He was an ass kisser. I don't like ass kissers. He was an ass kisser, and because he was kissing somebody else's ass, he thought he was in charge of some people, so he liked to try to talk to people fucked up. Had a problem when people talk back to him fucked up. Let him know, look, suck another turd out this dude's ass, but you ain't got no power, no authority here. He got real calm after that dude was gone, and he had no man next to man authority. Oh, can you please? Fuck you. No, can't do shit for you. So it wasn't because he was Irish. It was because he was an asshole. I deal on a person-to-person basis. And best believe, if you fucked up, I'm not blaming your whole race, ethnicity, culture, none of that shit because you fucked up. You fucked up. And I want you to go. Everybody else, cool. JT talking about he drinking? Yeah, JT a tall drink of water. Drink of chocolate milk. They're getting him toasted. In the city. Cool as shit. One of the things I found out about Irish dudes, they really love black music. They love the fuck out of black music. Yeah, 70s soul and shit like that, boy, they be all into that shit. All into it. Could tell you more about your history than you probably could. And you in the culture that spawned the shit. They pay attention to that shit like they pay attention to their own stuff. That should be embarrassing for anybody black. But somebody that ain't even born here know more about your cultural significance to America and the world than you do. You just walk around mad and bitching. Aquatiki said, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Shout out to Obsidian. Genghis Khan spread his seed all through Asia like a farmer during planting season in the South. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I can tell you this. One thing that is universal. Every man wants to spread his seed. And everybody fucks. Who they can. Now, Genghis Khan, as far as I know, got a little grapey in some of that situations, but he did spread his seed everywhere. That motherfucker was viral. Viral. So, be mad all you want to. Deed is done. Deed is done. Can't deny it. Could not like it, but you can't deny it. What did Slick Rick say? More racially and culturally integrated. The northern and west coast states are more segregated. It's funny because Texas, in a way, I think has more spillover from California. People leaving California for more houses, better houses, cheaper prices and shit like that. So you guys can get more integrated. I think they got a nice little tech hub going on there as well, which brings in a lot of different people from a lot of different cultures. And you can tell by the festivals that go on there. It tells you who's there. So, yeah, it's pretty integrated now. I'm just saying, for what I understand, I have not been to Texas. I've not been to Texas yet. My homeboy invited me. And there's a little brown-skinned woman that lives in Texas somewhere that need to get smacked on her ass. I ain't went to Texas to try to do that shit yet. But I'm just saying. Haven't been to Texas yet. But California is spread out. Because some of this shit here, while they tell you it's very integrated, it is in some senses. It is. But in some ways, you have you know your pockets that really don't like certain peoples. Because you do what most cultures do. You move to an area, you're there solo, more of you come, You bind together in one spot. You start to congeal. All right. Once you establish yourselves in that spot, you start hating everybody else who driving out the indigenous groups. Once you get some power and authority, you get into politics and city government and shit like that, you start enforcing your will. Now you can hate on people because you have some power. Now your bigotry can turn into actual racism. And who's the favorite whipping boy in the U.S.? So you'll get what seems like some segregation. You will. Because they separate you. Because they separate themselves. Yep. Texas does have a lot. I'm telling you that from being in California. We go everywhere. Californians go everywhere at least every 2 to 4 years. I say 4 years in recent times because they keep moving to influence elections. What's good, BMT? The trigger man in the building. I'm gonna be on the division today. I will be on the division today. Man. You want to come through? I had to run with some other cat the other day. He was good too. He was good. He bounced. No goodbye. Just like, thank you. We finished, but thanks. No words, just cover fire, boy. We just getting it in. He said, I'm down, brother. That's why you the trigger man. So Californians transplant themselves everywhere. They do, especially in y'all red states. I'm telling you, these motherfuckers want to turn that shit around. Everybody will be blue or no one will be red. Coming for you. Like, I'm not saying it's the shitty ones. I'm just saying there's a group of them and they come for you. We're not crammed up like cities in the South. Yeah. I didn't mind Georgia when I was there. I was surprised when I finally came back to Georgia. It had been maybe 6 or 7 years. There was a lot more open homosexuality and stuff like that there. I didn't know that had happened. But I knew where they came from. This is the South. What the fuck going on here? Okay. It is what it is. See, me and my son ran the streets last night. I want to hear that shit. I was tired last night. I was sitting up here trying to cut a video, BMT, and I fucking fell asleep while I was doing it. It was like, oh shit, I need to go to bed. Boring ass fucking Bad Batch. Californians fucked up Austin. I believe it. But Texans have always been top racially integrated state before California started running out of Cali. It's not even like they run out of Cali. Some Californians move out of Cali because they can't stand the shit that's going on in California. They really can't. Right? Like my buddy Sean, my ex-coworker Sean, he moved to Tennessee. Him and his wife just got his house in Tennessee. He was happy to leave California. And I think he was born and raised in California. He was happy to leave California. He was so fucking excited. He got a house, a nice house, got his wife, and he got all the guns he wants. At 25. Happy as shit. You know who miserable? These motherfuckers are still here working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to pay some of the little shit that you don't own. Or you could say they stupid. It's trade-offs. California is a beautiful fucking place to live. It can be. I was talking about this shit yesterday, how 1 year for my birthday with my girlfriend at the time, my lady at the time, Sandra, we went from the forest of Yosemite to the coast of California, Sutro Bass in San Francisco, up into Napa and wine country, all in the same day. All in the same day. Didn't take days. It took hours in a car ride. And if we had spent another hour or so, we could have went right to the snow. So we went from sun and sand, to the mountains and the forests, to the wine countries and the vineyards. It could have been up into the mountains again in the snow, all in the same day. That's the beauty of California. That's the beauty of California. All of this shit is here. All of it. From the Bay Area, it takes you, and I'll say this, and some of you guys will understand it. From the Bay Area, it takes you about 5 hours to get to the state line. Let's to get like to Reno. I think Reno is like 5-6 hours. So you look on the map from San Francisco to Reno, takes you about 5 hours. Quicker if you fly. So you go straight from the sand and the beach, the Pacific Ocean, all the way up into the mountains and the snow and the woods and shit like that, where you can't even see a beach in 5 hours. Now you put your finger on a map on the East Coast and say like New York, North Carolina, something like that, and figure out how far you would go in 5 hours. Your ass would have crossed through probably 5 or 6 states because they're so bunched together. California is big, nigga. It take 8 hours just to drive to LA. 8 hours a work day just to get to LA. You ain't even out the state. You go 8 hours north, you might hit Oregon. It's a big place and beautiful. Just got a bunch of dumb fucks up there. Just what it is. Yeah, I go take you a road trip. There you go. I tell y'all what I do. I flip a coin to figure out which direction I'm going this year. Because any direction you go, you can't go further west unless you get on a ship. But they dock right in San Francisco, so it's easy peasy. But whichever way you go, you're going to find some beautiful shit. I like going north. It gets colder. It gets foggier. It's more trees, more shores, tide pools, woods. I can wear my Carhartt shit, my Pendletons, my boots. I'm good money. Misty in the air, not no pollution, so everything smell clean and shit. I can be a whole mountain man. An hour away from the bay. Just don't know. From Baltimore, 30 minutes. Will put you in another state. 30 minutes? 30 minutes out here will almost get you to Sacramento. Almost. 30 minutes out here can get you to San Jose. Not another state. 45 minutes will get you to Sacramento, the state capital. You'll get to Sacramento. Some good food, low riders, bunch of shit going on, cow patties, cow pastures and shit. Yeah. Yeah. Levees. Yeah, that'd be cool. You have a good time. And then you spend the 45 minutes and take your ass back home to the whole city. No. You ain't out the state. You ain't nowhere close to being out the state. Because once you get to Sacramento, Yeah, a couple of hours that way, you can take your ass up to Reno and get out the state, just over the border, not deep into another state, just over the border. It's a big place. Boom, boom, boom. What does Licorice say? It takes me about 14 hours going west just to drive from El Paso and still be in Texas. Because all these western states are big. Big, 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 like nobody's business, nigga. A lot of space out here. But it's funny because people get so crammed together in one spot, talking dumb shit. Like, can you please just shut the fuck up? Today about driving in Texas. I was in El Paso coming back to Chicago and spent 10 hours of a 23-hour road trip through Texas. It is what it is. That's the beauty of it. Big, wide open space. Ain't they fault because nobody wanted all that dry land? Hey, carve this bitch up how we want to. Anyway, so that's an hour and 20 minutes of my little soliloquy. I should give y'all a little bit of geek shit. A little bit. There are some things that I saw this week that actually piqued my interest that I thought about talking about. And the first one that comes to mind is something I saw yesterday that really made me think people were missing a boat on some things. Right? Now, the report came out that Marvel was canceling a bunch of movies. Right? They changed their slate of movies. Or Disney Marvel. And it's because Disney has their little cost-cutting measures in place. Now, the way the cancellations were reported, it was reported as a win. That everybody should be happy about this, right? Because it means that, like, Brie Larson is no longer with Marvel. She got fired. She out of there, stuff like that. Yay, all around, clap, 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 right? Now, I can tell you guys this. I had no love for Brie Larson's portrayal of Captain Marvel. Y'all know that. I liked the Captain Marvel character. I didn't like her portrayal of Captain Marvel. Brie Larson is regular. She got a nice little rack, but she regular as fuck. And she says some dumb shit out of her mouth. But then again, like I just told you, she's in California. So, what I thought was missed in the story is what they said about the 3 movies that were canceled. That they're clapping, that they're happy that these 3 movies are canceled, but I'm thinking you're missing the major point of this. Now, the 3 movies that were canceled from Marvel, at least the ones in this article, were Captain Marvel 3, if that was ever going to be a fucking thing. It shouldn't have been. So canceling it ain't a surprise. Ant-Man 4, which is like, well, why you got to kill Ant-Man? Well, like, all right, like, what did he do? It's because of Jonathan Majors. Come on, man. Let this shit go. And Eternals Part 2. Now, while the reporting on these 3 is that they were woke pieces of shit and they were terrible movies, and that's why they should have been canceled. So it's a big applause moment to be canceled. I don't think their cancellation was that big of a deal. It's not that hard to understand. And it's not for the reasons that were being reported, like, oh, this person is unlikable, this movie sucked because of this person was in it, and this sucked because of this director. I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that at all. I think it was something very simple. The very obvious solution to this equation of why it got canceled. They cost too much fucking money. They do. The return on investment in those movies was shit. But why was the return on investment in those movies such shit? Those three movies in the Marvel canon of movies are some of the most expensive, not because the casting choices meant that you had to pay them an exorbitant amount of money, not because they lost so much money at the box office, but because they cost so much to make. Why? Because those three movies are the ones that are the most CG laden movies in Marvel's thing, outside of fucking Endgame. The only one that they didn't mention was Doctor Strange. Yeah, Lion, they don't put up the money that leads to success. They don't. That's why they're losers. They're losers not because the movie sucked. It's based on the financial numbers of how much they had to spend to make that goddamn piece of shit and how much it took in. Because look at the movies, right? You got the Marvels, which we all knew was dead on arrival. Whatever showed up was going to be dead on arrival. It could have been Endgame point 2. It didn't matter. That movie was going down. It was going down. The fan base wasn't there for it. The reviewers on YouTube and Reddit and Twitter was not looking forward to that fucking movie. That movie was going down like a $2 hole with broke knees. That shit was going down. It was going down. There was no way. No way. It was coming to the box office to die. Right? But what do you see in that movie? You got three characters whose power set is all CG. It's all CG. They're fighting out in space in some worlds that don't exist and stuff. Mostly CG. So anytime they fight or use their abilities, you have to go back in with a computer team and CG that shit, render it and all the rest of that. That's man hours or people hours to do all of that shit. It costs. That shit cost. So based on how much it costs, gives you the budget for that movie. Because you can look at it and see they didn't spend all that money on writing the script. They didn't spend all that money on the actors. They spent the majority of that money on the CG. And in some places, it looks shitty. Now, roll this shit over to Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. What did you get in Quantumania? Was it shitty because Jonathan Majors was in it? Because Kang showed up and Kang was black? Did it suck because Paul Rudd's acting is garbage? Did it suck because Cassie Lang had the most cringeable line in a Marvel movie? Don't be a dick. Huh? No. It was a loser. Because it is completely CG laden. If you take all the CG out of that movie, what do you have? Maybe a couple of scenes of Paul Rudd walking down the street, hanging out in Baskin Robbins, and a bunch of people standing in front of screens. Where'd the budget in that movie go? Did it go to the actors? Did it go to the sets? Or did it go to, the team to make all those CG backgrounds and animals and mantas and people that aren't actually people in this quantum realm? Shit, it wasn't even a buttload of green screens. Aquatech, the movie was a green screen. That's why I was surprised they didn't put Doctor Strange on that list. Now, it cost a shitload of money to make. Didn't make all of that back. That makes it a loser. Now you get to Eternals. What's her name? Chloe Zhao? Not a terrible director. The actors in it weren't necessarily terrible. There were some good actors. You'd watch them in something else. Kind of flips the Eternals a bit. Yeah, it does. Not necessarily what they were in the comic. No, not at all. No. But what was the main thing? CG. Every character had a CGable ability. And even a big fight scene was a big CG orgy of lights and sounds. So much so, they still ain't really story-wise wrapped up. Why the fuck we got this big-ass celestial hanging out the planet and the planet hasn't stopped spinning correctly? So what do you got? Where'd the money go? Did all the money reported for the budget for that movie go into the pockets of the actors and actresses? No, they had Selma Hayek in there. They killed my baby girl in there. They killed Selma in that bitch. What? Yeah, I need to see her again. Bring her back. No, it went into all those special effects. Now you got 3 of the most special effects laden movies getting canceled for sequels. No shit. So looking at that, as I looked at it, I didn't see it as Disney was canceling these things because Brie Larson is an unlikable person. I didn't see it as it's canceled because Jonathan Majors is problematic. The only man ever to get convicted for doing something he didn't do. For running from a bitch. But he was harassing her. And another movie, Missing the Mark. Telling a decent story, but not for those characters. No, I didn't see it as that. I saw it as the 3 of those movies together probably lost him $1 billion. And before I would let you and my company lose me another $1 billion, I would cancel any movie you had coming next. Because make no mistake about it, Paul Rudd is not on the screen always acting as Ant-Man in its suit. It takes CG to make that motherfucker grow or shrink. And every time he shrinks, that showed background. Every time he grows, that showed background. These characters are CG heavy characters. It's not a power set you can necessarily get away with practically. So yes, they have to go. Yes, their movies will be canceled. You know why? Because you save money that way. Now, that's just me thinking in a straight business and money sense. Like, if you lost me money, I'm not giving you more. If it costs $250 million or $300 million to make this movie and you only made me $100 million back, fuck you, pay me. Can I get another movie? You can get the fuck out of here. You're not getting another movie. Go find the rest of my money. Then we'll talk about possibly another movie. Over exorbitant budgets and dwindling returns do not mean you're getting a sequel. That's exactly what that means. It means you're not getting a sequel. Plain and simple. It didn't matter what movie it was. But budget-wise, That's one way to save. Well, fuck these movies. Because then we ain't got to spend all that money on CG and stuff. No. Well, maybe we'll stick to these ground-based characters that just kicks people asses without CG. You know, give me a Punisher movie. Think bullets is cheap. Squids are. Excuse me, squibs. And we can just have John Bernthal out there kicking the shit out of people. No CG necessary. Maybe a Blade movie. Not a lot of CG necessary. Why? Because Blade actually fights people hand to hand. You know, no flying, no extraordinary stuff. You know, simple, practical. Same thing with Captain America, because you could hook a hoist up that Anthony Mackie's ass and just pull him around the set. But you ain't got to CG it. That's what I saw from that article. That's what I saw from those cancellations. It's a money move. It's about money. Most of what Disney is doing right now is about money. They are losing shitloads of money on failures. Now, that was just in Marvel. They ain't talked about the shit for Lucas. Not for Lucasfilms. There should be a lot of shit canceled in Lucasfilms. Why? Because a lot of it relies on CG. How do you think the Bad Batch is getting canceled? This is the last season. And from watching this season, it should be canceled because it sucks. Story-wise, it sucks. It's a completely CG show that sucks. For 30 minutes at a time. Excuse me, for 24 minutes at a time, it sucks balls. And not well. No. A lot of this shit needs to be canceled. A lot of it. The problem is the real crap is not going to be the ones that's canceled. It's going to be the stuff that had the potential of being good that gets canceled, given the climate and the people who are in charge. Go ahead, King. You got a question? Throw it in there. Got a super chat? Got a super chat question? Throw it in there so I can. Wasting CG money on a MODOK. Yeah, Zajac, I never gave a shit about MODOK. It was not a big deal for me to see MODOK in a movie. Dude, I'd have been more interested in seeing Fing Fang Foom in a movie than seeing goddamn MODOK. I don't care about MODOK. It is not that damn interesting to me. I got MODOK on my Future Fight game. I don't play that bitch. No, that motherfucker is leveled up just to make sure that all my heroes are leveled up. All my toons are leveled at the same level. That's the only reason why I don't play with that bitch at all. You don't fuck about no MODOK. It was a waste of time. I did think it was interesting turning him into Darren Cross. But Cross is his own villain. They already fucked up on that, so whatever. So appreciate you, Zajac, for supporting the stream. I will give you that 3B salute. Appreciate you. Not the bad ball sucker, Pauls. Yes, the bad ball sucker. Oh, he asked the question without funding. Which streaming companies do you think overall does it the best? Netflix, Amazon, or Disney? They all got their problems, and I pay each one of them. They all have their individual issues. Amazon is doing well right now because I can find some older stuff on Amazon. Invincible just came back, which that episode of Invincible was, bruh, some shit went down. It's looking darkest. It's looking darkest right now. If you haven't watched that episode of Invincible, you should go back and watch that now because it just came back. I'm locked in for that. The Boys is a bright spot. Mr. and Mrs. Smith is a bright spot. Amazon puts out some good shit, but they will lose that luster as soon as that next season of that Rings of Power bullshit comes out. As soon as that comes out, people are going to be down voting fucking Amazon. So, like I said, does some stuff really well, some stuff not so good. But there is a lot of content on there and something to watch. I don't give a fuck about Wheel of Time, but Wheel of Time, Rings of Power, those are all part and parcel of the same chick that's over there at Amazon. Her ass. You know, their version of Kathleen Kennedy. She could find the exit door too. And that's what needs to be pushed out of most of these things. Netflix, I like Netflix, but Netflix has its issues at times. Okay. But Netflix does me a solid in giving me, I forgot Reacher. Let me not forget about Reacher on Amazon. Look, Reacher and Jack Ryan. Come on, man. Bullshit. Netflix does a good job in bringing me all that international shit. Because if it wasn't for Netflix, I wouldn't have seen RRR. I would not have seen RRR. Would not. You wasn't going to find that shit on Disney Plus. You damn sure wasn't going to find it on Amazon. But Netflix is good for giving me all that international gold. There's some vampire movies from Russia I want to watch on there that's on my list. I still got, season 3 of Dark to catch up on. Man, it comes from Germany. It gives me my international feels, and it gives me a shitload of anime to watch without having to get Funimation or no bullshit like that, which I do have to. I like Netflix. The dumb shit they do is always get some objectionable shit in there. Like, what was that? The cuties thing with the little teenagers with cheerleader and shit. It's always some questionable shit in there because they got their politics, like that Masters of the Universe crap that nobody liked. Some shit gets through, but Netflix is still of the mind that they're about profit and about giving the customers what they want so the customers will pay their ass. We gonna not fuck the customers. We gonna give them what we think they want, what they should want, and we'll lose money in the process and subscribers trying to give them what we think they should have. Fuck you. And ask you for what you think I should have. Give that shit to your kids. Which gets me to Disney. I was excited to have Disney Plus when I bought Disney Plus. Why? I like The Mandalorian. I like my Star Wars. I like my Marvel movies. There's some Disney movies that I like. Like, I grew up on Escape from Witch Mountain and shit, nigga. Herbie the Love Bug. Come on, man. Bunch of shit like that. Bunch of old shit like that I can watch on Disney. My daughter grew up on a lot of Disney programming that I didn't like so much, but I could watch it with her and kind of debunk some of that shit. Right? Wizards of Waverly Place, Hannah Montana, fucking Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and shit like that. There's a lot of shit like that on there that she liked and enjoyed. Same thing with my son. Some of the other shit that Disney does, I don't like. And it's mostly the political maneuvering of its CEOs and heads of shit. You don't fuck about all the rest of this stuff. Shut up. Why do I know your face and name so well? I never met these people in life. I know their face and name better than somebody I went to school with for fucking 15 years. That's a problem. I'm not supposed to know who you are. But the fact that your good goofy ass want to be out there known like that is your ego running amok. CEO is supposed to be invisible for the most part. At least to me. You have your standouts, your fews, but every CEO and studio head ain't supposed to be known by name and face. That's somebody that don't deserve power because they run amok. So Disney, that is Disney's problem. Some of the programming I enjoy, like the Marvel shit, the what is it called? Their behind the scenes stuff of how they make the shows and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. I do. Getting to know the actual creative people behind the scenes. Yeah, that's gold for me. The rest of that good, goofy shit, them jacking up their prices because everybody left. Well, that's the way the economy works. The more people leave, the more you jack up the price on the people that's still there. But trust and believe, you turn the water up hot enough, I'm gonna jump out this bitch. I don't like the shows that I came to this stuff for being ruined. Mandalorian is a fucking wasteland to me right now. And it don't matter if I like Pedro Pascal or Katie Sackhoff. That shit is kind of dead space right now for me. It's not being saved by the Bad Batch, I can tell you that much. Dave Filoni can eat a dick. Or a vagina. Because I'm sick of his ass. Way sick of his ass. I feel like I've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, led astray. Judas ass. I have no love for disloyal people. I really don't. And that shit is just killing me. So that's what it is, King. That's what I think of those streaming services. All streaming services have their good points and their bad points. Like Apple TV. Apple TV is cheaper. Apple TV has some really well produced shows. Even the Foundation. Last season of the Foundation was lit, nigga. It was wild. It wasn't a book at all, but it was interesting television. I can tell you that much. It was some damn interesting television. It was not the book at all, but it was interesting television. But that's the only time I'm watching Apple TV. Because I told you guys, my biggest fear with the streaming thing is everybody having their own streaming services would turn into is cable all over again. But everybody wanting to charge you $20 to watch their shit, which you can't possibly watch all of. If you got one series on 8 different streaming services, how much time do you need to watch all 8 of those series? That means you're going to spend more time sitting at home watching TV than working. And if you ain't working, how the fuck are you paying for these streaming services at $20 a piece? They're pimping you. Don't know. What up, Dr. T? The Edge Master in the building. Got the Book of Eli sword. Like, god damn. I got a plastic Chris knife. Resin. I got a resin Chris knife. That Book of Eli blade. You can get some work done with that one. You can get some revelations going on with that. Filoni can eat bantha poodoo. Yeah. Well, while he's trying to put his name on the bottom of it to say he created it. Or he tried to create a little creature that pooped it out so he can say, you see, bantha poodoo, I own it now. Uncreative ass bastard. I gotta get Disney Plus back. You don't need Disney Plus to watch Shogun. You need Hulu. I have Hulu. Hulu got some good shit on it because I can tell you this. Friday night, I was going to watch Shogun on Hulu, and I looked through there, and they had, I forgot Shield Hero was on my list. I was like, oh, shit. And there was a season 3 of Shield Hero. I was like, oh, nigga, let me recap on number 2. I sat back and watched Shield Hero season 2 all over again so I can catch up to what's going to be happening in season 3 so I can watch season 3 this week. Sorry, Andre. Arcane is still on my list. I just ain't got there yet. No. Hulu got shit on there I want to watch. But each service works for what it's good for, right? Hulu works good for regular television. If you have a regular TV show, like you don't have cable, I don't have cable. I don't have cable at all. I only have streaming services. Regular TV, I can watch that. Regular show, I don't mind waiting. Like my mother is on me about watching Fargo. Got cable, so I ain't watching that channel, but it's available on Hulu. I watched the whole fucking season and catch up. Shogun is on FX. I ain't got cable, but I'm watching fucking Shogun because of Hulu. I was strategic when I got these sites. I didn't get these sites when they became big. I got them when they were small. So I've had Hulu forever and Netflix forever. Back when you was getting the disc in the mail. Streaming makes sense if you figure out what it makes sense for, which is why I don't have Paramount Plus. I'm not going through all my movies to figure out which ones are Paramount movies and those are the ones I want to watch. They get about as much play as Max does. Why? Because why do I just want to look at your fucking content that I've already seen and might already own? You making some new shows? You better put that shit back on Netflix. Stop losing your money on that. Same thing with Disney. Andre said I had Apple TV because I can't find Chromecast. I'm not familiar with the Fire Stick. Fire Stick is cool. Fire Stick is through Amazon. Fire Stick is how when I was working on call at my job, because they don't have a smart TV, but it's not a smart TV, but it has the HDMI hookups on it. I plugged my Fire Stick into that bitch, and I watched all my streaming services on that television. All I needed was the Fire Stick and a Wi-Fi extender, which I have both. I plugged that Wi-Fi extender to the wall outlet, extended the Wi-Fi signal out to their break room, popped my Fire Stick in the television, and hit my remote and watched my shows at work from my streaming service. And then when it was time to go, boop, and I'm out this bitch, y'all can get back to watching the staticky TV. The Western Channel and shit, and crime stories and stuff. Fuck you. So Fire Stick is like a godsend. That shit is actually useful. I have a smart TV at home, which that Roku shit is more streaming services, but it's all connected to all my other streaming services. So I always watch the shit that I want to watch. So what is the Fire Stick, like $20, $30? If you want to watch your stuff anywhere, get a Fire Stick. Slap it into the TV and you're good. This is about the Kung Fu Panda. Have you reviewed Kung Fu Panda? Skadoosh, hell no. I'm not watching Kung Fu Panda. I don't have any young children. So no, I have not reviewed Kung Fu Panda. I haven't even watched Kung Fu Panda #1. Not interested. Really not. I see Kung Fu Panda and the first thing I think of is surf ninjas. White folks appropriating somebody else's culture to make fun of it. So no. But be my guest. I'll watch your review. Like I saw Torian Torian Rain Reloaded, he did a review of Imaginary. I didn't go see Imaginary. I didn't. Friend of Professor went and saw that shit. I didn't go see it. I don't fuck about no horror movies. Told you, I only like horror movies when it's time to do horror movies. October. Fuck do I need a horror movie for during Black History Month or in March? Really? I'm black. That's enough of a fucking horror story already. But if I had a young child, like if I was going somewhere, grandbaby, my little Rainbow was out with her grandmother this weekend. But if I was going to see my granddaughter this weekend, I would take her to go see Kung Fu Panda. That'd be the only way I'd see that shit. I don't have any interest in it. Yeah, Disney Plus might get renewed when my term is up because there's still stuff there that I like to watch. Stop buying as many Blu-rays and stuff like that. I've bought digital copies of some of this stuff, but not everything. I got very selective and stopped buying as much as I did like when I was in my teens and my 20s where I just consumed media. I watch enough of it. I don't buy all of it. It's like comics. I will buy a hardcover of a comic that I've already read because I want to save it for posterity because it rose to the level of being that good of a damn story that it needs to be saved for posterity. Most of the shit is hopefully forgettable. It is woefully able to be forgotten quickly. Like I said, facts and drawbacks of progressive technology and streaming services gives too many options and not enough time for a generation with short attention spans. Exactly. Every time I hear one of these short attention span motherfuckers talking about they binge watched a show, I'm like, you had that much time to spend? That's an hour a piece. It was like 12 episodes of that shit. You spent 12 hours watching one show, but you can't get your goddamn work done. You can't sit through 15 minutes of me playing music. Terribly inconsistent. Speaking of inconsistent, in this last little part, what's up, Azurius? Hulu, Amazon Prime, I find myself on the most of the time, and I'm looking for something to watch while eating dinner. That's how I ended up on Hulu. Dude, I was supposed to go out not last night, but Friday night, I was supposed to go out. Professor wasn't feeling good. I wanted to have Thai food. I still had Thai food. I just ordered Thai food in. I sat here on my couch because I finally got my couch. Sat here on my couch, breaking it in, had my Thai food, had my Thai iced tea, and sitting there watching Hulu, watching Rise of the Shield Hero, and enjoying myself. Hulu was good for that. I was eating dinner. I was just chilling, nigga. It was good. Didn't have to get fully invested in the whole show. It went by really quickly. And I can tell you this, it was more entertaining than 2 episodes of The Bad Batch. Did I say that again, how much I'm disliking that fucking show? Yeah, that's for the person who asked me in my comments section, well, if you dislike it so much, why are you watching it? Why don't you suck a dick? Why are you asking me about it? Because you came to my channel and I review media. That's why I'm talking about it. You dick. Why are you asking me stupid fucking questions? I look for the more intelligent ones, but I still answered you. Ninja Kamui on HBO Max is very good. I don't know. I haven't looked at Max in a while. I like a lot of Warner Brothers movies, but I haven't looked at Max in a while since they changed their name. Yeah, it's been over 10 years. It's probably been 20. It's been way over 10 years where I had no cable at all. My last thing I had was Dish Network. And I cut that shit off and went to streaming. Wasn't a lot of streaming services, but most of the stuff I was watching was on Netflix. I wasn't watching a lot of TV. I was reading more. So it wasn't no point. I'm waiting for the third season of 1,000-Year Blood War to come out on Hulu. I don't even know what the fuck that is, Lewis, but it sounds interesting, nigga. 1,000-Year Blood War sounds like Doom. The Galactic Jihad. Shit. I might have to look that up. I have to pull up my Hulu. Let's see real quick. See if Lewis throwing me should I pause before saying a bone or pause after saying a bone? Lewis throwing some red meat out there for me. It might be a show worth watching. I know Andre wants me to watch Arcane. I'm having a hard time watching that shit because there is no legit interest for me in it outside of the fact that I have to because somebody asked me to. Eventually I have to watch Dornkirk. As a Christopher Nolan fan, eventually I have to watch Dornkirk. Oh, Bleach? Why did you just say fucking Bleach? Oh my fucking God, Lewis. I didn't even watch Bleach. That's too much shit I gotta go back through to catch up on Bleach. It's on my list though. It is on my list, Lewis. Like, let's see. So you know, I ain't bullshitting. You see, it's on my list. It's in my stuff. But yeah, I ain't watching Bleach. I'm not doing the Bleach. Look, I don't bullshit. I don't bullshit. A lot of motherfucker, you probably me. Yeah, I'm on season 3, boy. Of the Shield Hero. All right. So, speaking of Blood War, Star Trek is enough to make me sub to Paramount Plus. Yeah, I haven't found anything worth me subbing to Paramount Plus outside of the Bass Reeves show that I just want to watch. If I find it somewhere else, I'm going to watch it there. But I don't feel like, told you, I don't want to go over, I think I got 5 streaming services. I don't want to go over that. I'm having a distaste for this shit now. It's too much. It's over my threshold of how much I feel like spending a month on that shit. To have 5 lists of movies that I absolutely have no time to watch all of that shit in one go. That's going to become another damn job. Just coming back and watching shit. And given how this channel was supported, I ain't paying. So that ain't where most of my time goes. Yep, I got the Roku TV. That Christmas horror movie was an outlier. Ripping on my DVDs and Blu-ray to my own Jellyfan media server. That would work. I got a shitload of movies and stuff like that though too. If I did that shit, I would need fucking 300 terabytes. A lot of stuff. And I'm just thinking of my regular movies. I ain't even talking about my anime. Not even talking about my anime. Zuri said he still hasn't started Bad Batch. You ain't missing shit. This 3rd season, you ain't missing nothing. You want to hear how fucking lame this shit is right now? Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Where can I pull it up? No, I should probably finish the review. Hold on. I need to look at it right now. I did an hour-long video, Anthony, or Azurius. I did about an hour and a half long video watching these 2 episodes of The Bad Batch and being thoroughly underwhelmed again. There was some good points in it. There was some stuff that looked cool. Mostly it was... That's what it mostly was. Let's see. Like having 2 screens. 2 screens are fine. Give y'all a little bit of behind us. Over here! What the fuck are you doing? Dumb fuck. I do like cussing at inanimate objects. One second, y'all. I'm gonna have to finish this up. I do got something I want to say about a couple of people that's mad at Marvel right now. And a disturbing conversation I heard, and this will feed into the Bo DeMayo shit. Disturbing conversation I heard while having dinner on Wednesday. And Dr. T, if he's still in here, I would be interested to see his point of view on this. All right. So this... Why can't I see it? Interesting. Oh, there it is. Okay. This is the video I'm editing for this Bad Batch season. Episode 6, season 3. Look at this shit. What up, Joe Herb? Herb stay in this bitch. And some of the stuff that Rex is doing out in the universe and that is friends with Omega, like the impetus in the early stages of the rebellion starting up. A little filler in a sense, but it gives you the indication that while the nigga tired doing this shit, power in a lot of places, his hands are still tied a little bit because there is still a set. Rex catch. No fucking sense in the world. There we go. Something in my eye. Now, while it seems like this operative is going to get away, he ran to the highest place in this city, which makes no fucking sense in the world, and gets put down with a few well-placed stun bolts. Years ago, we found out that Hemlock did put bounty hunters on Omega's head because he wants her back. He wants to return to unspoiled. So this should not be a surprise necessarily. It is a surprise, however, for Rex and company. So they put a call in to Hunter to let him know the situation because they are aware that in Hunter's direct sphere of influence is Crosshair. It was a dumb fucking episode. It was, oh my God, mostly boring. Mostly boring. Some shit happened, but nothing that was, ooh. So yeah, Azurius, if you haven't started watching it, I would say personally, why waste your time? Nobody is quizzing you on this shit. They won't be. I'm serious. Nobody won't be. So, whatever. I could take it. Might not. Yeah, Disney Plus might not. It's a toss up. Catching up on y'all comments. Keep my TV down. Keep my TV dumb and add external smarts. That's one way to do it. Binging, yeah, that's what it is. Binging for me is like focusing on a theme. So, like, today is St. Patrick's Day, right? If I binge watch television the rest of the night, it would be movies involving Irish stuff. So I have my St. Patrick's Day list that I usually watch, right? Boondock Saints 1, Boondock Saints 2, The Departed, Blown Away with Jeff Bridges, Trainspotting. You can watch that one. I haven't watched that one in a while, so I might watch that one tonight because I haven't watched it in a while. And there's another one I'm forgetting. I should binge watch some Peaky Blinders, but I don't think that's necessarily Irish. But I could go back and watch the third season of Sons of Anarchy when they go to Belfast, because I did like that. That really got me into that fucking show. It was the second season. Sam Bell was something else. So I'd watch that show. But that's usually what I would do. I would binge watch some movies in a theme if I'm not watching just one series. But it has to be interesting to me. I have to have some ingrained interest in watching it. Otherwise, it's hard. Like doing these videos for the Bad Batch. I recorded this video like Wednesday. It's Sunday. I still ain't finished that shit because I have no interest in really wanting to relive that shit again to put out a review for it. I will. I'm telling you, it takes a lot. It takes it out of me to do shit like that. It's like swallowing glass. Tate No Yusa delivered you. I talked to the nameless protagonist this week, and he was talking about some show he was watching because I finally got to get up with him about if he was watching Shogun. He was already watching Shogun, but he said he's gonna watch it in bulk because it's not gonna do him like the other show he was watching. He was into that show, and they came back with the third season, and he jones. Shit was so good to him. He just sitting there, just that third season coming. Jones. What up, Herb? Do you think this may be an opening for new creativity to step in? Absolutely, BMT. Absolutely. There's always, look, you can see all this negative shit as the downfall of everything, or you can see it as an opportunity. It is an opportunity. The fact that so much stuff out here in entertainment is terrible is an opportunity for somebody to make something new. Because make no mistake about it, fans of good sci-fi or fantasy or even just modern stuff will quickly gravitate to you if you put out something that's good right now. Who wouldn't want a show right now, just from y'all in here? Who wouldn't want a show right now that was really good to hit on all of that? If I told you House of the Dragon was coming out tomorrow, right? House of the Dragon season 2 was coming out tomorrow. Would you be watching that shit? I know I would, because I want to see what Damon up to. I want to know what the real rest of the story is. It's going to be blood, man. It's going to be blood and dragons. What the fuck? Let's go. Let's go. If there was a good sci-fi show coming out tomorrow, hit all the buttons that you wanted. was really well written. Special effects was good. Acting was superb. If that was coming out tomorrow, do you think people wouldn't be watching it? Fuck, do you think these geeks is all excited for Invincible? If The Boys was coming on tomorrow, do you think everybody in here wouldn't be watching that shit? You'd show up on time, if not early. The landscape of geekdom is so sparsed out or spread out right now between what's really good and what's like marginally good and shit like that. Look, there's no reason shows like One Piece blow up on Netflix. And all it did was made people go back and start watching a goddamn anime. Because they are so bereft, so starving for good freaking content, good entertainment, devoid of all this bullshit that people like Iger and Kennedy want to tell you people, the fan base really wants. You know, that's the shit that you want. And nobody likes that. Catching up on Naruto, yeah. I go back and watch Shippuden right now just because. But I know if I start watching Naruto Shippuden again, I just need to, finish out the third Great Ninja War. Because I didn't get into Boruto. My son is still watching Boruto. I didn't want to go on to that without finishing the last story. Because I was really liking Naruto. Rainfire, Tubi, yeah. Where's Artie Ibmore? Artie Ibmore is the Tubi representative in this sector, boy. Tubi will do in a pinch at work because Tubi has some stuff I haven't seen in like forever, like some 80s stuff. Like, oh my god, what? I haven't seen this since I was way little. Man, I gotta watch this. Yeah. I think that's what Jujutsu Kaisen. I think that's what Nameless was watching. That he waiting on the third season for. He was loving that shit. They taking anime and making them live action because they're trying to pimp out the anime now. They fucked up the cartoon comic book character space. They fucked that up already. So they moving on to the next IPs that work. And since manga is outselling comic books, that's why they're doing the manga into live action to try to make money off of that. They're just going through all the IPs. That's all. To try to catch a little bit of that money from you guys. But they ain't making shit better. All you got to do is look at where they come from, what they leaving in their wake. Now, they haven't forever ruined Cowboy Bebop to me, but I'll never go back and watch that Cowboy Bebop live action again. And I think 3 out of the 4 actors weren't bad. But that Vicious, that Julia, fuck you. Fuck you. That was not the character. I don't know what bullshit you was pushing, but you need to put it back in the bottle and put it away. No, he doesn't. Yeah, I believe Bass Reeves is good. If you know who Bass Reeves is, it's worth a watch. I haven't watched it yet, but it's still on my mind to watch. It's just going back to Apple TV. Like, do I remember it when I sit down, or do I need to watch this episode of this show so I can do my review? It's usually how it works out. Yep. Same way, Herb. I try to keep my physical media around more than just the digital stuff. I'm still tactile media. I still like actually owning things and not just, well, I got it downloaded and you ain't got shit. I forgot there was a new episode of Bad Batch this week. That's how bad the season sucked. Yeah, there was 2 episodes this week. That doubly tells you how bad it sucks. And I mentioned that in my review of episode 6, because episode 6 and 7 was a 2-parter, and they came out on the same day. And I'm like, this must tell you how bad this show sucks, that they're going to rush a couple of episodes out at once. And I was thinking Disney was doing it because X-Men 97 is supposed to start up, I think, next week or the week after. So maybe they're rushing through this Bad Batch. They don't try to have a lot of overlap of the same shit, right? So I think that's what they're doing. I think they're trying to rush it to get it over with. But it is the last season for this shit, so don't matter. Just you can put it all out at once, so I can be done with it instead of pulling razor blades out of my ass. Like this. I read the Sheer Hero when it was a light novel. I'm going through to run the anime just to see what was cut because the novel got. I'd be interested. I never read the light novels, and now that you told me that it's a light novel, which I should have fucking known, I will look forward to read it because I like the Shield Hero. Naofumi, yeah, I fuck with Naofumi, boy. He be on that shit. He on that shit sometimes. But it made me rethink how you fight with a shield. If all you had as a weapon was a shield, how would you fight with it? But how he hustled. That motherfucker hustled. Season 2, that motherfucker end up in a whole nother world. And all his stats dropped down to 0. That motherfucker was damn near at 100 in the world he was in. He went to another world, his shit dropped down to 1. He was back out there on the grind. What did he out there do? Start pimping potions, nigga. He did some for real hustler shit and came up in a new world. like he made another million. Like, yeah, I made $1 million, I lost it, but you know what? If you made 1 million, you know how to make another one. And he did it. He did that shit. I was loving that. Loving that. They get over in that shit too, because he ain't got nothing but chicks around him. Got every anime fetish going on around him, and he ain't tripping. So yeah, I fucks with Naofumi. I like that show, so I can't wait to watch season 3. Get through that. Solo Leveler, I've heard of that. I have not watched it. And if I heard the Solo Leveler was good too, at least the manga was. Yeah. I've heard nothing but about season 3 of Bad Batch. Kind of turned me away from even starting Bad Batch. See, here's the thing, Azurius. I got this bonehead in my comment section talking about why I was talking about Bad Batch if I disliked it so much. And what I didn't want to tell him right off the bat is like the biggest Star Wars channel on YouTube, Star Wars Theory, is not liking that show. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? He ain't even that damn interested in the show. Now, where he is hopeful because, he has hope for Dave and other things that they can do that could be cool and shit like that. He ain't liking that fucking show. That is a channel devoted to Star Wars, just Star Wars. I ain't even tried to see what Anna was thinking about that shit. She's a Scorpio. I know she's about to go in. If I go over there to the Star Wars girl and see what she thinks of the Bad Batch, I don't think she's gonna be talking kindly about it. I can't see that happening. It could be, but I don't see that happening. No, I think she'd be going to fuck in on this shit. The same way I'm going in on it. It's garbage. The dumbest acting characters I've ever fucking seen. Of a story I don't give a fuck about. Everybody wrapped up in fucking cloning. Cloning is not that interesting like that. Not the way you doing it. Mm-mm. Put a collection plate, and now it's a selection from Wendy Watson. Sexy chocolate. Appreciate you, Rainfire. For the support I will give you. The 3B salute. That boy good. Fucking Rainfire. What up, Darren? No, leprechaun? Yeah, that's the pot of gold up there dancing. Got one leprechaun on deck. Yeah, thank you, Rainfire. I was forgetting all about that shit. But see, Snatch is not really, they're not really Irish. They're Brits, like Cockney and shit like that. Doesn't happen in Ireland. They're not Irish. Far and away, they are Irish. And like I told you guys, I was at the air show yesterday, so I'm feeling that Top Gun vibe. I can fuck with a Tom Cruise adjacent movie. Him and Nicole Kidman about moving west, why the West is so big. They ran out there and stuck a flag in the ground. This is my land! I've claimed it. Not even them Lucky Charms. Sign me up for compelling content. Yeah, Aquatech, sign me up for compelling content all day. That's all I want. I don't give a fuck what form is happening there. House of the Dragon was good. House of the Dragon was good. That was a sleeper hit. Motherfucker, that shit came out and it was good. It was better than that Rings of Power bullshit that was going on at the same time, trying to suck all the oxygen out the room. Because Damon, Matt Smith, that was a motherfucker. The rest of them characters was something else too. But whew, that Damon boy, it was about that work. Fuck about them people. You wish they'd redo Gotcha Man in live action again? Did they do it? Oh, I know which one you're talking about. That the Asian version with the CG they did of Gotcha Man. I never watched that. I saw a clip of it online, but I never watched the whole thing. I wouldn't want Americans to do it. No, they ain't got no love for it like that. They'd fuck it up. They'll fuck it up. She would end up looking like Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., starring David Hasselhoff. That's what that shit would end up looking like. It's a made-for-TV bullshit. I went to a Discord movie watch Golden Boy today. Artie Moore's doing a Discord Golden Boy watch. Good. Watch it. X-Men 97 comes out on the 20th. Yeah. 17th. Yep. So it's Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday. So X-Men 97 will be out. We get to see that bullshit. Uh-oh. Speaking of Doughboy, he shall appear. Trust Andre to have somebody's name in his mouth. Oh. Shout out to the Doughboy. Artie Idmore in the building. That's not his comment, but you know. You brave enough to try another Dragon Ball Live? Nobody. But then again, no, Hollywood is not that deeply involved in Dragon Ball, so whoever does it will probably pay it some respect. If Hollywood was involved, they would start bastardizing that shit right away because the creator is dead. They love it when the creator is dead. When fanboys say it's bad, it's bad. Yeah, I'm not even a fanboy. I'd be a fan of some shit, but I'm not a fanboy. Fanboy is like derogatory to me. But yeah, if fans of this shit don't like it, you probably should not even watch it. And that's the difference between making new fans and actual fans. Fans actually know. New fans don't. So you can feed them any old bullshit. What up, Artie Ibmore, the Doughboy? Billboards at the end. Good start off. Okay. Hit the like button anyway. What do you mean anyway? Oh, fuck you. Blasphemy comparing Rings of Power to House of the Dragon. No comparison. No, there was no comparison, Zajac. It wasn't. People tried to. No, it wasn't. That Rings of Power was trash on ice. Cold and stinking. And I watched both. And I was suffering through watching Rings of Power. Even without having read the Silmarillion and older stories and stuff like that of all that history of that shit, I was suffering through watching that shit. That shit was so unbearable. They spent a shitload of money on that. They're lucky that they can come out in a movie so they can see how much they lost on it. I'm not looking forward to season 2. I don't understand why you hire people that don't know shit about this material and care nothing for it. All they want to do is inject their own personal lives into this shit. I don't give a fuck about your personal life. I don't. If I did, I'd be a friend of yours. But I'm not. I don't want to see it on the screen in a franchise that has nothing to do with you. Egomaniacs. Speaking of which, I've been trying to make this segue for a while. So this Bo DeMayo shit. Now, I was going to go one way on talking about this, which is that I didn't care, which I thought it was kind of ironic that the person responsible for writing this X-Men 97 was fired before the shit comes out. And he's supposedly a gay black man. I thought that was kind of funny. And everybody was wondering, how do you fire a gay black man from a series that you hired him to write? And my first thought was because he has man in it, right? I thought that was it. By default, you should be out of there after you've done your job like a good buck. You came in here and beat it up and get the fuck out of here and niggle. But then some other stuff was released, right? And shout out to the Midnight's Edge boys because they do some good investigative research on shit. And seeing the report that came out recently about why he was let go from Disney so quickly confirmed what I had already thought it had to be. Because understand that in this climate right now, the only way you can get rid of somebody really quickly and start erasing them for nothing is if something sexual is going on. That's the only reason they walk away from you really quickly, because Disney ain't walked away from really nobody else that hasn't been calling them out for the bullshit they doing or been mixed up in some sexual shit. Well, Midnight's Edge boys pulled out from another article about Bo DeMayo being fired was seizing on the key point that he had an OnlyFans account, non-explicit. So they said. Well, then they got pictures of this motherfucker standing up there full Montying on his OnlyFans. Yeah, Dick Van Dyke pics. You are done. You are done, son. That's why your ass had to get the fuck out of there. It wasn't because they hired you to instill yourself and your own viewpoint on the world into this cartoon. No, it's not because of that. It's because you was out there showing your gay black schlong to everybody on OnlyFans or not. Now, understand that OnlyFans has the moniker now that if you hear somebody has an OnlyFans, the first thing you think of is they naked or having sex on that bitch, which is all it seems to be for right now. Private paid porn. That's all it seems to be for right now. Somebody exposing some part of themselves for money. Hoeing. So you should probably call it HonlyFans instead of OnlyFans. Because everybody has been busted in the last month, lost their job, or like the chick I was watching get walked out of her job as a nurse, was all based on OnlyFans content. Finding out that Rachel Dolezal was still walking around somewhere, changed her name, and still out there tricking and pretending to be black was because of what? She working somewhere. Somebody found her OnlyFans. Well, she bearing it all, man. White, black, or whatever. All pink on the inside, like they say. Showing it all. The little nurse in Florida or whatever with the, I don't even think that's a real booty. Yeah, while she get walked out of her job, you embarrassing us because of your OnlyFans content. So this dude, Bo DeMayo, which sounds funny as shit, like of mayonnaise, like yeah, you gay. That sound like a bad joke, man. It sound like a bad joke. It's like your name would be Richard Sphincter. Like, come on, man. Come on, dude. Come on. That has to be a made up name. But either way, him having an OnlyFans and having his Free Willy pics out on there. Look, he's still a nigga. Now, it's kind of ironic that happened to him because, in my mind, like I said, OnlyFans is synonymous with sex for money. Paid to see something pornographic, right? And the only difference is you're not professionals. Because otherwise you'd be on Pornhub. Now, I find it interesting that they fired him for that shit when they hired him specifically for his proclivities that he has said in interviews. Nothing about his talents. Nothing about what they were going to do with the story. Just about who he was as a person. And that was more important. Why? Because as I know, on the X-Men 97 team, nobody was gay. But you wanted to infuse that in there. Okay. So you got a gay man to write a believable gay story. Where do you think it's going to come in at? Wouldn't be that season 2 they were talking about, would it? Well, they really wanted to push that, and some characters going to be changed along with Scott and Wolverine and some. Really? Okay. That never existed in X-Men 97, but you're going to put it in there. All right. You bought it. You do what the hell you want with it, right? Whether we watch it or not is something completely different. Now, this mindset of hiring people just on their proclivities is interesting to me because I sat and listened to a conversation on Wednesday while I was having my dinner between, I guess they were family members or teachers. There are 3 Latino teachers, male and 2 females. And the females, one of them was a little bit older. And in their conversation, I picked up the fact, because we're sitting right next to each other, and I'm trying to eat my chicken piccata, and they going on about all this other shit like they supposed to be shocking me by talking about that it was gay or something like that, like I gave a fuck. I'm in here eating dinner. I don't give a fuck what your proclivity is. I really don't. And you saying it louder ain't gonna make me get up and move. So what? I'm a lesbian. I like pussy. So in this conversation, I'm listening to these people who are teachers talking about these children in their class and how one of the children in their class, and mind you, it seems like they work with middle schoolers, right? So before 15 down to maybe 10 or so, right? And one of them is going through transition, in a sense, cross-dressing, and how they're working out this whole thing with making sure the other children in the class call them by the name that they want to be addressed by now. And how some of the staff was not taken to that too clearly because you're just dressing up. Maybe it's a phase. Maybe you get out of it. And the one young Latina, and I say young in the sense that she's probably in her 30s, right? All these people except for one. The male was probably 35. The older female, maybe she was 40. And then the younger female is probably in her 30s, just for how she was talking, right? Could be wrong because I wasn't pulling out their fucking IDs, but that's my assessment of them. And the younger one is talking about how these other people just need to get with it and understand that this is who this person is now. And they need to adopt calling them this shit right now. They just need to accept it. They're non-binary right now. They don't want to be called that. So they are a them right now. And it was a funny part in the conversation that happened because they're talking about this one person, but then talking about a group of other people too, and they had to use them twice. And the gay guy got confused of who the fuck they were talking about, which made me laugh, which made me fucking laugh. I was like, yeah, because that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Like, wait, them, you mean them as in them or them as the group? No, them, Kristen. Oh, okay. Because that's how ridiculous this shit sounds in some ways, right? So they're going through all that. And the young one is the one that's more opinionated. The guy had some stupid shit to say himself. He had some dumb shit to say himself. But what really stuck out to me the most, the absolute most, was what the young one said. And I wrote this shit down. She was talking about how the boys were out on the yard playing or something like that, and they kept trying to stick fingers in each other's butts or some shit like that. Now, because that's inappropriate anyway, but I watch anime. I'm thinking of these kids, how old these kids will supposedly be. I said, well, maybe they watching anime because they couldn't figure out why the boys was doing it. First thing I thought of was 1,000 Years of Death by Kakashi Sensei in Naruto. Every time Naruto was fucking up, 1,000 Years of Death. Okay, I'm thinking that's what it was that the boys was doing, given their age. She didn't see it like that. She's a lesbian. She didn't see it that way. You know what she saw it as? All these boys was gay. And she said in conversation what she told those kids. This is a teacher, mind you, teaching somebody's young children. To her friends at the table, she told them what she said is that they are all gay until they prove otherwise to her. Because that's how she saw it. They were all gay unless otherwise proven. Like, what? How the fuck does that work? That shit sounds so objectionable to me. And it made me really think, this is somebody in charge of somebody else's children. Now, mind you, she ain't got no fucking kids. Which I think nowadays should be a fucking prerequisite to be working with children. But you're going to put this idea and enforce it on other people's children. You are gay unless you show me something otherwise. The fuck otherwise do they got to show you? They got to kiss a girl? A fucker? Who said they had to prove that shit to you? I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I almost jumped in their conversation, for real. I almost jumped in their conversation at that point. Because some of the other shit that they had said up to that conversation led me to hear their most ignorant viewpoints of heterosexual people. They fucking hate heterosexual people. They waiting for all the heterosexual people to fucking die. Now, this is not my conversation. This is three people talking at a table right next to me. And this is the sentiment that they're putting forth. Like they racist or something. You got a child that's probably 13 years old wanting to start dressing like a girl and stuff like that now. And you think that the parents are stupid because they won't accept it. You don't understand that they just need to die off or something now. Now, it kind of made me chuckle because I said the same thing about racist people. I'm just waiting for them to die or have their daughter knocked up by somebody of another race because that'll test that racism real quick. Right? They're saying the same shit just about heterosexual people. Now, that most egregious comment that she made was the one that was just really like, let me get my fucking check because I'm going to say something and get in the whole situation in this bitch. And it's going to sound like they going to want to take it as, oh, you against gay people. I'm not against gay anything. But what you're saying is absolutely fucking wrong to say to children. Nobody has to prove anything like that to you, especially not no sexuality. Now, boys playing on the yard, trying to stick fingers in each other's butts and shit like that. I don't know what the fuck that's about. Maybe it's the culture that you over-sexualizing fucking children with grown folk matters. Could be that. Or I could remember back in the day watching fucking Jackass and seeing these grown-ass men fucking around putting firecrackers in each other's asses. Or bottles or douches and shit. Like, who the fuck does that kind of goofy shit? Not me and my friends. There ain't no anal play happening in my friend group. That's not how we get down. That's some younger racist shit. No. You know how you know? A joke for a Gen Xer to make them cringe is to tell them about getting a prostate check. That's a joke. We don't do that shit. That ain't us. So these kids running around for whatever reason they doing what they doing is some new shit. I related to the anime just because that's what it conjured up in my mind for their age range. But boys do a lot of abusive shit to each other as play. Like, I don't know, socking each other in the fucking face, kicking each other in the balls. But a female teacher who was a lesbian telling this group of kids, a bunch of boys, that they're all gay until they prove to her otherwise is outside of her fucking pale. What does that have to do with math, history, language, grammar, any of that shit? Who told you you had the right to put this edict on somebody else's child? What made you put forth the idea that gay is the natural state of people? And hetero is just a choice. Look, man, I don't care what you choose as an adult. And that's over 18. I don't care what the fuck you choose. maybe after 21 for some of this shit. But it is not your truck to tell somebody else's child that's who the fuck they are. And it's really concerning me that all this focus is being put on someone else's child. Because by definition, some of these folks ain't gonna have kids, right? Unless they adopt or artificially inseminate or get a surrogate or some shit like that. Now, if you do that, more power to you, because I'm all in favor. Yeah, people should have kids. They should. But you ruin your kid the way you want them because it's your kid. Everybody else's child is not fair game for you. It's not a test bed for you to keep throwing some shit out there and see what happens to the kid and then send it back home and see how it works out. No. That was some reprehensible shit that she should not be in front of children teaching a goddamn thing. If I'd have heard that as a parent of those children, I'd have been at the damn school. Wanted her ass fired. But this is a mentality. Because it wasn't anything that the people at the table said, oh no, that's too far, girl. No, they didn't say none of that shit. They agreed. Look, just because, and this is all factual for the conversation I heard, just because when you came out, your mother didn't support it and your father did, don't mean your mother is a terrible person. See, what this bitch didn't understand is that parents have hopes and aspirations for their children. They do. Because parents or children carry forth, some parents or decent ones, hopes and aspirations. So, some parent that decided, I'm going to raise this child. It may not have happened in the best of circumstances, but I'm going to raise this child to be the best person they can be and sacrifice time, trips, any other future plans that they had, work 12 to 15 hours a day for years to pour food, clothing, information, knowledge, education into this child so they can grow up into the world and then turn around and come back to you and say, fuck you. I'm a lesbian and I'm never having children and I detest the fact that you're heterosexual. You don't think the parent would have an issue with that shit? You don't think they have the right to have an issue with that? That lesbian's mama had hopes and dreams for her. She did. She did. She had hopes and dreams for her daughter. What she wanted her daughter to be. What she looked forward to having from her daughter. What up, Charles? All that shit is gone now. Mostly. Because, yeah, her daughter can get artificially inseminated by some dude she don't know and pop out some kids that look partly like her daughter and partly like somebody the grandmama don't fucking know. And, yeah, she can love those kids. But that ain't what she had planned. That ain't how she thought it would go. That's not how she grew up knowing her father and mother and her grandparents. That's not where she thought her life would be. Where she'd have a grandchild with no father around. That's not what she grew up thinking. So yeah, she got a right to be a little put off when her daughter tells her she's a lesbian, she's never having kids. Yeah, mama can feel some kind of way. She got the right to. Because she loses out on something too. Now, I cannot say because this woman came out to her mother and her mother was all pissed and her dad was supportive. Dad tried to work through the shit the same way. He probably was just as disappointed as the mother was. But there's enough programming there in the world nowadays that you're not supposed to be objectionable to anything somebody else says that they do. If your child comes to you and say, I like to dress up like a horse and get fucked in the culo by random stray men, you're supposed to say, is the costume comfy? Is there anything we can get you? You need some water? Man, don't let them just going whole hog on you, son. Here, take this. Let me go get you some lube and some stuff. It's my decision and you have to accept it. No, I don't. Actually, it's your decision. You have to accept it. Right? Because you're the one taking it. I have to tolerate it. That is your decision to make. But sitting there listening to this woman at this table, her dislike was so virulent. I couldn't believe that she was a teacher. Couldn't believe it. I have friends, right? I have a couple of ex-classmates who are teachers, who are gay. So the fuck what? But I don't think that's what they're doing in class. I don't think that's I hope the fuck that's not what they're doing in class. I hope that's not what they teaching kids. Your sexuality is this until I say otherwise? Until you prove it to me otherwise? I hope the fuck not. We would have a falling out. Let me say, nowadays they allow children to identify as animals, mainly cats and dogs in schools, so they can meow and bark instead of talking. What the fuck, Andre? Is that just in Canada? You're gonna have to explain. I know you're in Canada, so you gotta clarify what you're talking about. Because most of us is Americans over here. So you saying that shit like it's an absolute in America. Canada, I'm waiting for somebody to identify as a fucking moose so I can see what that's about. Shit. But that's one of the issues that's going on in America. The people without children are telling people with children how they should be raised, which is the fundamentally disingenuous. Exactly, Charles. Spoken like a father. Completely disingenuous. You don't know shit about it. You're 30 years old with no kids. What the fuck do you know about how to raise a child that you've never done? Look, I told y'all before, I don't listen to people who haven't been to the place they're trying to tell me to go. I like the opinions and the advice from experienced people who have actually had experience doing what they're advising me on. Not people who work in theory on everything, on life in general. No. If you got no experience with it, shut the fuck up. Why are you talking? You're drowning out the voices of people with actual experience. Because the ones with actual experience ain't going to fight over your fucking voice to be heard. Like, fuck it, man. They fuck with the real, they'll get it. It happens in America too. I believe it does, Charles. I just wanted him to clarify. Yeah, Malika, she does need her ass kicked. All three of them at that table needed their ass kicked. The young one especially. That shit was so egregious to listen to. The pure, hatred they were having and trying to cajole and maneuver these other people into this ideal just sounded ridiculous. It sounded like the kind of shit that, look, maybe they was putting on for me. I'm trying to rationalize this shit in some sense. Maybe they putting on because they know I'm fucking straight as an arrow, into some VJ, right? Sitting there at the table, not giving a fuck about them. Maybe that's what they're doing. And they just putting on for me. But no. Replaying and listening to the conversation, no, they're actually having a regular conversation about their family life, about their work life. And some of these things cross over. And the sentiments they were expressing is how they feel. It's how they talk between themselves. A lesbian, a gay man, and another woman, a heterosexual woman, or maybe she on the fence. I don't fucking know. And the sentiments they are displaying is hatred for heterosexual people. And literally doing subversive shit with children so they can take that back to their families and have problems. And none of them got kids, mind you. None of them. They're just waiting for all of us to die off. You know, the people that actually have children. That shit was so egregious to me because I don't like the idea of anybody fucking with children. Plain and simple. I don't believe sex needs to be pushed on children at all. I don't believe that children need to be defining how they are sexually when they're under the age to be having sex. Now, what you do after 18 and 21 is your fucking business because you're an adult. Until that time, you are not. So I'm not with letting the youngest people in the car drive it. That's not how I grew up. That is not life, period, on the planet. The youngest people don't get say-so over how everything else runs. No. Because you have nothing invested in how this shit runs. You don't even know how this stuff works. What up, Jason? Peace to you. See what you want. Well, Andre said he heard us mainly in the U.S. Well, fuck who told you that? The Providence I live in just passed laws to stop this goofy gender stuff with children. I would agree. I don't like. Look. I probably get wrapped in the mouth for saying this, but what's the difference between saying some dude was grooming some little girl by telling him stories about his wild, sex life, and she looked like she was cute and she had nice hips and she would grow up to be a beautiful woman and all that goofy shit, and telling kids that they can get into all this weird sexual stuff? What's the difference? And you were this until you see prove to me otherwise. What's the difference? It's grooming either way. Because either way is introducing sex to a child, which is supposed to be illegal. I never needed anybody to be a parent for me to my children. I don't. I'm still wishy-washy on step parents. Still. My son's stepfather is one of my friends. We cool as shit. But I still feel some kind of way about step parents. And I never had one. Still. So what the hell do you think it is with somebody who ain't the parent? Just supposed to be there teaching your kids something at school, trying to tell them about their sexual identity. Or the weird stuff they into. And only looking at things that they do through their eyes. Oh, that was very gay. Why are you telling them kids that shit? All of this is basically like running a campaign to make more. I think a teacher in the U.S. got fired because she wouldn't meow for a kid identifying as a cat. Look, identify your spelling words. Sing me the Animaniac song of all the countries in the world. Identify with actually having some grades that can get you into a decent STEM school so you can help this country get a fucking head and not further behind dealing with this dumb shit. While everybody else is looking at us like, y'all the biggest batch of idiots on this planet. You ripe for a takeover. Funny thing is, I've seen admitted gay people post reviews on woke movies, etc., and they even said it's too much and takes away from their content. It does. It does. It takes away from their actual struggle. Like I told you guys before, this shit is circling the drain. And the only thing they seem to want to do is add more chunks and make it spin faster. So all I can do is tell you what direction the rotation is in, because it's going down. What you're saying is that people who think like this are pains in the ass. No, you're saying that. I think somebody who feels that much hatred for, I don't want to use this word because I know somebody's going to get real pissy about that. But being that that's how everything else on the planet does it, that makes it normal. But I'll say this. Your proclivity is not everybody else's issue. You should not be proselytizing your proclivity on anybody else. I don't think so. Now, if you have that much hatred for people who do not have your same proclivity, you shouldn't be teaching children. Or at least you shouldn't be teaching straight children. Now, to sound funny, but because we know it happens, but I don't necessarily want racists teaching black kids. But we all know it's happened. And that's the part that we have to unfuck ourselves and deprogram ourselves from when we get older. Putting aside all that extra sentiment that gets thrown on shit. I believe Dr. Curry and Dr. Tiasan wrote whole books on this topic to actually find the person underneath all that bullshit they tried to throw on us. That ain't got nothing to do with us personally, individually. We got to do with their skewed view of the world. Everybody is not gay on this bitch. If that was the case, your numbers would be higher and you wouldn't have shit to complain about. So telling a bunch of middle schoolers that they gay until otherwise you see something different is absolutely asinine. I would think in some ways it should be criminal. Or in fact, you should not be standing in front of kids teaching a damn thing. like it's abusive and disgusting. It is abusive. It's mental abuse. Minus consistent consequences in real time, girl can be immature well into adulthood. Yeah, Jason, I had to explain that to somebody else at work when they're talking about, well, girls mature quicker. Look, that's a misnomer. Girls mature sexually quicker, not mentally. Anybody in the chat, raise your hand if you know a grown-ass woman, 30 or above, who acts like she's 15 years old. Why is that? Because some maturity for girls stops after they start being sexually interested in another race, in the other gender. If your brain does not even your skull or whatever does not even solidify till you're 24. How are you still growing? You reach sexual maturity quicker, not mental maturity. If that was the case, it'd be more you motherfuckers in STEM. And I wouldn't meet grown ass women that don't like to read books and only can tell you what's happening on the latest reality show. Oh, I forgot. There's different versions of intelligence too, right? Mm-hmm. There's different ways to say I don't give a fuck too. Identifying with education, not bullshit and dysfunction. Yeah. Proselytizing. That's all they're doing. No, she shouldn't be teaching, period. Not saying no shit that I heard. She shouldn't be teaching at all. She don't need to be in front of nobody's kids. Not like that. Not talking like that. Fuck no. Pedo behavior is demonic behavior. I don't know if it's demonic. I got some Christian upbringing. They was talking some shit about religion too, that I'm not bringing up here because I don't remember it accurately. But they had some shit to say about that too. What up, Beasley? He said the danger room is open. So it's a collection plate. Yeah. Yeah, no, and I hate that maturity crap. I had to correct them on that shit. No, it's sexual maturity. It's not mental maturity. And that's why I asked. Point out the woman that you know that's grown and still acts like a child. There's a lot of them. Why? Look, no one got his hand up. Beasley got you got the one up. Jack, Andre, yeah. We all do. I'm sure lesbians know too. They're lesbians friends. Trust me, some of the shit that I heard from my lesbian friends about chicks is like, dude, this is no different for a dude. This is no different for a dude. You're not dealing with anything different than a guy was. And this is why we have issues with them. Silly as shit. Yeah. It ain't nothing but a support system after AT. What up, Aaron? Aaron P of the building. So that shit was egregious, and it really turned my stomach. Didn't ruin my dinner, but it did turn my stomach to hear that these were people who were teachers talking like this. And it made me think of Dr. Tiasan and Gigi, who actually teach in academia and stuff like that. And do they hear shit like this from other, faculty members and stuff like that? Because make no mistake about it, this woman is a teacher and she will probably continue in the teaching profession. Eventually, she will be somebody's director or something. And she will still be pushing these views. She's not about to change that shit. That's what she believes. Now, it's not reflected in reality, but it's what she believes. She will ascend to heights and be in charge of shit and be influencing more children, possibly with the same type of fucking rhetoric. Some of the stuff I look at now and I see in society, I have to be thankful that I don't have young children in school right now, that my children are grown. So thankfully, personally, I don't have to deal with none of this shit. The only problem comes in is that I have a granddaughter. She will be dealing with this shit. And she may not think anything about it because she's new to this earth. Still think this is the way it always was. But it ain't. But this is what they mean by creating new fans. To see their monster grow. This is what they mean. They got to make them. Shout out to Aaron P. Appreciate you, Aaron. He said for the Geek Toll. Appreciate you on the journey. Appreciate you joining me on the journey. I will give you a double up. Appreciate you, Aaron.
Double lag. Fat, double lag. 100 on the sack, double that. Block like a ghost town, still double back.
Let me double check this. I hadn't checked it in a few. Make sure I give y'all some respects before I get out of here. It's already 3 hours in. Trying to shorten the shows down to 2 hours. 2 or less so you can get in and listen and get out. I'm missing the second part of the air show today because I only got to see the Raptor from traffic. And I like watching that plane float like a leaf on the wind and do things a plane is not supposed to, a jet plane is not supposed to do. It's freaky. No. So shout out to Listen Brother for supporting the stream, joining me on the journey. I appreciate you. You are an elite, sir, for supporting the stream, and I will give you that 3B salute. Appreciate you. Listen. Shout out to my Scorpio brother, Joe Herb, coming through on saintpatricksday. No message. He just dropped something and flew off like Superman or Valzad, which what have you. No, he liked Thor. He liked Thor, and Thor's his favorite character. Be like fucking what's his name? Idris Elba. This bitch. Appreciate you, Herb. I will give you the double up. Appreciate you.
Double lag. Fat, double lag. 100 on the sack, double that. Block like a ghost town, still double back.
Next one goes out to No One. Appreciate you, No One, stopping through. No message. Just stop through real quick. I will give you that 3B salute. Appreciate you. All right. What the fuck is it doing? All right. Shout out to the Beastly Nerd. Came through. He didn't say anything. Appreciate you, Beastly Nerd. Been a minute. Seeing you in a few. I will give you double that. Appreciate you, Beastly.
Double lag. Fat, double lag. 100 on the sack, double that. Block like a ghost town, still double back.
And the last one goes out to the No One. Hit it again for Disney was the throat goat. Now she has standards. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at the word throat goat. It's just funny to me. I know what it means. It's just fucked up. It's really fucked up. And I don't shy away from that shit. I just laugh at it. It is what it is. Appreciate you, no one, for doubling up on the stream. I will give you the guts and buzz. Appreciate you.
Double up, 3 or 4 times. I ain't telling no lies. Run it up. Never let a hard time on the was.
Shit, I forgot the maestro, please. My bad. My bad, no one. My bad. Yeah. So that is it for today, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because my Jamaica has run dry, which means I need to go and get a refill. Maybe this time I'll put some. I said I wasn't drinking today. I need to have a little bit of libation since it's St. Patrick's Day. I need to, bless the spirits of my dearly departed. A little bit. A little bit. You on your Thanos, there will always be those who remember. Get it straight, King. There's only one Thanos in the Black Manosphere, and that's the Angry Man. I'm on my Spawn shit. You can call me King Spawn if you want to, but look, man, I remember a lot. And the only way to pass that knowledge on is to tell other people. Whether they remember it or not is something completely different. But if it matters to them, they will. That is all part of the journey. Learning everything that you can and passing that on to the people that come behind you on their journey so they know where to walk, maybe, or at least what dangers and what bright spots lie on the path that they take. Because you may have taken a different path. They may take a different one. Doesn't matter. It's all information. And it all can be useful if used correctly. Bought a bottle of Tamor DEW for the holiday, but feeling too under the weather to sip. That's what I was thinking about, Zach. I don't feel under the weather, but it's just, I don't really feel like drinking that much. But I feel like I should have one. I feel like it's an obligation. Like the first song that I played is Whiskey on Sunday. Sunday, I should have some whiskey. I got whiskey, but I really don't feel like it. That goes with me. I probably will just because, but I ain't got nothing. Oh, I got Applejack. That's green whiskey. Yeah, that's green whiskey. I can drink that. I got some Applejack. Shout out to Artie Moore for getting me on the Applejack. I can throw that in the Jamaica and have an apple Jamaica. A little bit, and then play my Division 2 and make sure my aim is not off. So shout out to BMT. You see my icon pop up, nigga. Hit the party. Join the party. What is it, Sunday? There should be some new things to take down. I'm all for the slaughter. So with that, I think I covered everything I wanted to do. I didn't see the Crow trailer, the new Crow movie trailer. I'm not sure if I'm going to see it. Psych. I'm a fan of the Crow, Eric Draven, James Hobart. So I'll watch it. Maybe I'll do a reaction to it so you guys can see what it is. What else did I have? Tatiana Maslany was mad at Marvel. She was mad at the fans and furious because they ain't bringing back her show. Fuck your show. Fuck your show. That's another expensive blunder that Marvel made on that horrendously looking CG show of She-Hulk, made by people who don't know source material, don't like the source material, and only want to push their own narcissistic view of themselves onto everybody else. Take your ass to the gym and develop a personality. You'll get the men that you want. It might take some years, but it can be done if you put in the work. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I thank y'all. I truly do for coming through. Thank you to everybody who supported the stream. You are, in fact, There we go. You are, in fact, the elite. If you come here, you want to have this conversation and inject yourself into a conversation and some topics to talk about, you are the elite, man. I mean, it's not an elitist thing. It's just, look, put yourself out there, you will find your tribe. I see you guys as my tribe. As big or as small as it may be. It is what it is. Not too hard. Yeah, Charles, you close to Boston. I know you fucked up today. And I know you on cognac. You ain't even got to say that. Your middle name is Cognac. What are you talking about? Charles Cognac Faulkner. Shut up. I know what your drink is, man. For anybody's holiday, cognac. His birthday. Aries month, which is coming up. Oh my fucking goodness. Whew. Bruh. There's gonna be some shit going on. Some spirits for the spirits of your ancestors. Exactly. And I like the wood spirits, the whiskeys, aged in barrels. I pay my respects to those spirits and my dearly departeds. So, St. Patty's Day, do something, show some respect for some folks other than yourself, not because they showed it to you, just because you are the respectful person. There you go, Toya. You been hiding that, girl? Eyeballing me. Don't be eyeballing me, Toya. I mentioned you earlier about a woman that lives in Texas that need her ass smelled. Saucy ass. If I could catch black women like that, I'd be all over Toya ass. I'm too weird. Running my mouth and cooking over here. Don't you even start with that fucking food porn. I want to hear it. I told my bank teller to shut the hell up because she was talking about making some corned beef and cabbage and shit like that and how she was making her cabbage. It was a little round white lady. She could get it. Because she was talking like she can cook her ass off. And I'm listening to the shit she talking about. My mouth just started watering. I said, you know what? You're going to have to shut up. That's enough of that conversation about that. I don't want to hear shit else about that. I told her flat out. I don't want to hear shit else about that. You need to shut up right now. Give me this. Let's finish this transaction because my mouth is watering. You got me fucked up. Yeah, Toya, shout out to the cooks out there. Shout out to the women who can actually fucking cook. Oh, damn, I had some homemade Jamaica. I love a woman who can actually make some shit. Good Lord. Why is that becoming a rarity now? And I can tell you this. I don't think that goofy ass teacher who thought every kid was gay until otherwise said, I bet she couldn't cook. I bet she couldn't. And that's one of the reasons why no man will want her ass. Outside of her miserable fucking personality. So, on that cheery note, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. I will see you guys next week, unless I die in my sleep. And I appreciate you coming through. I really do. Thank you to everybody who supported Aquatechie, Swift Battle, Listen Brother, Joe Herb, was it Jack, BMT, Black Men Talk, Black Media Talk, Rainfire Designs, and Aaron P. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Oh, how did I miss Beastly Nerd? Beastly Nerd and no one. Oh, my bad. I fucked up my whole accounting. Thank y'all for supporting the stream and this good brother here. I will see you guys at my next stream. It may not be next week. The next Hero's Journey will be next week, but I go live during the week randomly. You're probably good for a Cardisan MC. Probably good for one or a Geek Speak. But if you subscribe to the channel and click the bell, you'll know shit like that when it happens. Unless they don't send out the alert. Otherwise, you'll know about it. So if you want to be in the know, sub to the channel and find out what's happening. artisanmc. If you want to support the stream and I'm not on, you can do that because Cash App never closes. It's always open. So the banner going across the bottom of the screen is not for me, it's for you. $artisanmc on Cash App or artisanmc on PayPal. Support what a brother does because I like doing it and I like to keep doing it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I will eventually have a new banner. I do love the Shop Talk Live intro and outro, the black and yellow one. I do love that one, but I'm working on a new one for the hero's journey. So I'll have to change it soon. I'll be disappointed, but that's part of life. Deal with it, roll on. So thank you guys for coming through, and I will see you next time. Peace.